Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what to do now. What did I do?
All over the country. Rich.
Did,
There you are.
did I do it?
It's not going right.
You early arrivers, good to see someone.
Sorry, I don't know what it.
Hello?
Dropped off.
Who was there?
Invite the committee.
I
How
don't
you
know.
feeling, David?
Wait off, Gil. I don't know what to do.
Quite a bit better today.
Good. Good.
That's my mom and dad for all of you there, right there.
Yeah, and there's
Where are we?
room for everybody.
Oh,
Ah,
Get the audio going.
Do it again. See,
Bottom.
oh, for some odd reason.
David, you said your mom and dad are on that?
Your screen.
They are.
over here.
Jim. Oh, wow. Nice
Okay,
to meet you all.
I'm going to ask everybody to go ahead and mute yourself unless you're going to speak. So I thought I had it set to
I don't
auto.
know where, I don't know what I would even hit.
Ever since I used that Bluetooth speakers,
Okay.
Find that beautiful mute button for me. Julio, glad you could join us all the way from Brazil.
No. Who is? Oh, is he? Good for him.
All right. Well, it is 7:30. Thanks for all of you being on time. Some of you early. Great to see you. I see some very familiar faces and others that probably just know you through email or something. But I am David Seiler, and I have the distinct privilege of serving as the executive director now for the Parish Twinning Program of the Americas. So glad to welcome you all. I had no idea how many to expect. Wasn't sure how interested people. I got the sense that there's a desire on the part of the community to gather. We've all been through crazy times. So just thought it'd be a great chance for us to get together and really work to form a community among ourselves as twinning parishes. And I'm going to ask you to just introduce yourself through the chat. We wouldn't have enough time now. We have 51 folks now. So if just in the chat, just who you are, maybe your parish, just so we can kind of see who we've got here. But and then I'm going to ask I've got some board members on the call too. I'm going to ask them to unmute themselves and just to introduce themselves. Diane, why don't you go ahead, because I see you at the top of my left here.
Hi, everyone. I'm Diane Huggins. It's so exciting to see 55 people at this Zoom meeting. It makes me realize how hungry we all are to connect with one another. Thank you for joining us. I am the president of the board of PTPA. Did you want me to?
I see Tom on, so Tom, why don't you go next?
I'm Tom Gettelfinger. I'm one of the board members for a parish twinning program, also a member of St. John Paul II in Sellersburg. My parish there, or parish here is twinned with a parish in St. Raphael in Haiti. It's a pleasure to see everybody here. I was like David, I wasn't sure how many people would attend, but I'm glad to see we've started to do a mini virtual version of Matthew 25 house for 1 hour here. So thanks everybody for joining.
I see that the other Gettelfinger among us on our board, our newest board member, is on too. And Lori, can you?
Sure. Yeah, great to be with you guys. I'm Lori Gettelfinger. I'm with Diane at Our Lady of the Lake Parish in Hendersonville,
Where
Tennessee.
did you
And
find the?
am
yeah.
glad to be the newest
Email.
member of the board.
Can't hear it.
No, I can't hear anything.
Do we have anybody else on from the board? Oh, Andre, I see you. You unmute, unmute yourself, Andre. I don't think you can hear you.
Change the ballot. Yeah, they like to say wasn't sure.
Thank you. I didn't realize I was muted. Yes, my name is Andre Angren. I used to be in Lafayette, Indiana, as a member of St. Mary Cathedral, and I currently live in Orlando because I retired, and I'm a member of the board of the PTPA board since September, and I'm originally from Haiti, so I'm happy to be here.
Great. Am I missing anybody else? I can't see everybody on my screen now. So any other board members? All right, just a reminder, if you haven't muted yourself, please do so. If during the call you would like to ask a question or make a comment, you can go ahead and unmute yourself. And what I'd ask you to do is to raise your hand if you want to ask a question or make a comment. And in the Zoom world, if you haven't done that yet, it's at the very bottom. You'll see a little smiley face that says reactions. If you click on reactions, you'll see a pop-up that one of those says raise your hand. And then if it works, great, I'll see your hand. I'll be able to call on you then. So, but as I think we should begin in prayer. And I've asked Diane, our board chair, to with a prayer.
Thank you very much, David. And before I tell the prayer, I want to show you all, you may not be able to see this, but I have a prayer card. And this is kind of like what I think could be a best practice. Could be a best practice for other parishes. My parish, Our Lady of the Lake in Hendersonville, Tennessee, celebrated the construction of a new church. It looks like the one behind me. And their original church had been damaged by an earthquake in 2018 that happened off the northern coast. And they're in the northern department, and it had to be demolished and reconstructed. And Our Lady of the Lake made that happen. So we were very proud. And on December the 4th, 2022, we celebrated the dedication of the church, but we also celebrated the 40th anniversary of our twinning relationship. And one of the things that we did was we made these prayer cards that everybody took home from church. And it's a prayer to say for our twin parish in St. Burton. And interestingly, I saw a couple just the other day that told me how they love the prayer and that they're saying it every day. And I thought, wow, and we all know how important prayer is for the people that we're serving. So I'll read this prayer in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear Heavenly Father, we trust in your continuing mercy as we bring to you our desire to serve our brothers and sisters in Haiti and also in Latin America. We ask you to bring them peace, compassion, and hope. In your name, all things are possible. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Turn it back to you, David.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. So this is what I hope will become a regular thing. You know, we gather for a conference, but it's like every 4 years. And it occurred to me, you know, we've all probably been on Zoom and we've experienced this great technology. So this provides us an opportunity to get together perhaps more on a regular basis. And like, as I said in the email to invite you today, didn't have a particular topical area, but I think there are just a whole number of topics that we could cover in these Zoom meetings that would be of interest to many people. Some may have interest you, others may not, so you can pick and choose when you want to attend. We could do them on a whole session on water systems, one on advocacy for making change politically, for micro lending, for sustainability, for fundraising. Yeah, and the topics go on and on. If you have a particular topic or a particular speaker that you'd like to hear at one of our Zoom meetings, I hope you'll let me know. You can go ahead and type that in the chat or follow up and send me an email. But I'm collecting, I have quite a list already started of topics that we can cover. Some of those may be specific to Haiti, some may be specific to Latin America, some may be, you know, across the board, apply for all of us. So this would just be a place for us to gather as a community. One of the things that is a real goal of mine and our board is to really create a sense of community among our twin parishes, our twin members. You know, I think about the collective wisdom of this group gathered here and those that aren't able to join us tonight. It's unbelievable what we know about twinning. I know in my own twinning experience of 11 years now, we've made so many mistakes. So I could teach you a lot about what not to do. I could probably teach you a few things about what to do, but collectively, we could probably solve just about any issue any of us are facing. So it's our goal to create more of a sense of community. That's why we've started the Facebook page. If you haven't, search for the Facebook page and do that as a way to interact. We'll be launching a chat feature through our member portal coming up. So there'll be some more opportunities for us to gather. I don't know about you, but whenever I've been in the airport in Port-au-Prince or in Cap Haitian and you see other missionaries, we just collect, you know, in a group and we want to talk to one another. I think that's what was the beauty of Matthew 25 is people wanted to share stories and learn from one another. So this is our opportunity to kind of learn from one another, save ourselves from making mistakes and doing things really well. We have an incredible opportunity. I think about the number of parishes that we cover in Haiti alone, and hopefully as we grow into Latin America, the opportunity to make such a profound difference across an entire country is pretty exciting. So I wanted to tell you just a few things about, I think most of you know, I made a recent visit to Cap Haitian and in the whole northern region just a couple of weeks ago. I saw an opportunity that things were safe, and I talked to many of my friends there, and they said they really felt like it was an okay time to go. I didn't feel like taking a group yet, but I thought I'll just go myself and do a few things. And I want to tell you, I felt perfectly safe. There were no rioting going on. And it's really interesting. Those of you who have a twin in the northern region probably hear this from time to time. They're very proud of the fact that they're not Port-au-Prince. They kind of talk about the fact that that's just one part of Haiti, and that they work very diligently to keep the northern part, the Cap Haitian region, kind of free of that kind of violence. Now, of course, they don't have complete control, but they take great pride in that, and they don't want that area to become like Port-au-Prince. So it was, at least at that time, and I know things can change at any time. I've encouraged folks, if your pastor, the folks that you interact with in your area say it's safe, then I'd encourage you to visit. This has been such a challenging time for all of us, not being able to go and physically see our friends in Haiti, our pastors, and the people that we care so deeply about. I was really privileged to have Domo join me for the entire week I was there. Many of you know Domo, who works for and has for PTPA for like 30 years. That man knows everybody, I think, in the whole country, Haiti. Everywhere we went, Domo. It was like traveling with a celebrity. Probably kind of like if I ever travel with Teresa. Same kind of thing. But it was a wonderful experience for me to be with Domo. One thing I wanted to mention, and some of you are probably aware of this, is that they haven't had any rain since early November. Not a drop of rain. I've never seen the countryside like it was. It was so dry. It was very desert-like, and it's becoming pretty desperate. I've heard things, words used like, potential drought. I mean, serious drought. That obviously, what can happen in terms of food and all. So Food for the Poor, I've talked with them. They're kind of preparing for the worst, trying their best to stock up their food supplies at their warehouses, but they're continuing to face many of the challenges that we know about as far as traveling across the country. So it's really, really a dire circumstance. And if you know anything about Haiti, this is actually the rainy season and it ain't raining. So pretty tough time to be growing crops and things. So I had the wonderful opportunity, Domo and I did, to meet with the Archbishop of Cap-Haïtien, Archbishop Saturn. And he asked me to just to pass a message along to our members and just the message of gratitude. He said something that I wrote down, because he said, all of my parishes are like my children. And he said, I can't, just like a parent, I can't have favorites. He said, so when there's a parish I know that has a twin, it's one of my children that I don't have to worry so much about. I thought it was a beautiful way that that he knows that they're going to have somebody that's caring for them up in those parishes who don't have a twin, and some of the more rural areas, as we know, are so desperate. I hear from them quite regularly. It's pretty difficult. But he's really grateful for all of you, and I'm sure he speaks on behalf of all the bishops and the cardinal. I learned some interesting facts when I was with the Archbishop. And that is, and maybe some of you know this, but I get asked these questions all the time, and I didn't know the answers, but I do now. In the country of Haiti, there are 1,034 Catholic priests. 1,034. I thought that was quite a lot. There are 599 parishes. Now that's as of 2021. There are actually a few more than that. So there are over 600 parishes. There are 1,813 chapels in the country of Haiti. Now, keep in mind, if you know anything about the geography of Haiti, it is equivalent to 1/3 of the size of my own state, 1/3 the size of Indiana. It's the equivalent of the size of Hawaii, Vermont, or New Hampshire. They're around about the same size. So that I thought, wow, that's a lot of priests. And it made me reflective on the fact that they have a growing priesthood. And the Archbishop told me he has 40 seminarians in his seminary now. I don't know about you, but in the Archdiocese of Indianapolis, I think we have 3. So just a very different thing. The church is growing. The bishops continue to take chapels and establish them as new parishes. In fact, that's how my own parish became a twin. It was a chapel formerly, became a parish, and so we're supporting that now. So it does make me wonder sometimes that what that must be like for a priest. I met a priest while I was there a few weeks ago who was one of those priests that just got assigned to a brand new church that had been a chapel. He's in a remote village outside of Milo. Some of you probably know that's where the Citadel is. But he's outside of there in the rural area. He has absolutely nothing. He has nothing but basically a shed for a church, and he's staying about an hour away at another rectory. He has nothing. So pretty tough gig for a priest to start a brand new parish in a remote area like that. So as you might have expected, the Archbishop took the opportunity, he was with me to talk about his own needs as a bishop, and asked if we might help him find a twin diocese to twin with him. His major project was, he has a minor seminary that's in severe disrepair, and he really needs some help finding some funding, and somebody could help with that. So I'm just throwing that out prayerfully. If any of you are aware of a diocese that would be interested in taking on a diocesan twin, there are some I'm aware around the country that do that. Some of you may be involved in those, but to kind of close the sale with me, he had his treasurer, like the CFO of the diocese, take Dome and I to the seminary and I've got lots of pictures of it. And disrepair would be, we wouldn't quite describe how bad it was. I've been if you've been to Haiti and Latin American countries, you know that the buildings can be pretty rough. It was really rough. It was, I thought, man, if I were a seminarian and I walked in, I'd look around and go, what have I gotten myself into? There were literal holes in the roof where water had come in. There was just, everything was damaged. It was smelly. It was bad. So they're in desperate need. So I just wanted to share the Archbishop's desire. I'm curious, I had the opportunity to run into Chad Martin and the group from Evansville, Indiana, who were coming in to Cap-Haïtien. Has anybody else traveled there recently, in the last couple of months? Anybody? Nobody? Chad, are you on? I didn't see you.
I was there about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, hi, Ken. Ken Furling. Oh, he's legendary. How was it where you were, Ken?
Well, it was, we go to Jacmel, and we've been going regularly throughout all these problems because we take a small plane from the main airport to the small airport in Jacmel. And so it's, once you get out of Port-au-Prince, it's perfectly safe. It's just like it was before.
Great. If anybody's interested in learning how Ken does that, you can let me know, or you can, if you have Ken's information. Ken and I have talked, so I've got his contact information, and he's been at this a long time. He's one of the founding board members of PTPA. I don't know how many years, but a lot of years ago.
Yeah.
With Teresa. And I think, Teresa, I think I saw that you're on. Are you on, Teresa?
Hey, David, this is Chad. I am on here.
Oh, hi, Chad. Tell us, how was your visit generally?
Ours is wonderful. We went into Cap a couple times. We're in Plain de Nord, which is, as the crow flies, only about 3 to 5 miles away from Cap. It takes about 20-25 minutes to get from the airport to where we're at, but we traveled into Cap Haitian a couple times, and we traveled to the shoreline on the west side of the mountains there on Cap one day, but we felt perfectly safe the entire time. And we had a great visit with our parish. And the biggest problem that we ran into, and I think you were at Food for the Poor whenever we called in, was just some of the organizations that had been providing food to some of the parishes have, with the inflation, have, stopped providing some food and stuff. That was our, I guess our biggest negative about it. But as far as the safety and the atmosphere and the morale of the people in the parish was wonderful.
Good. Yeah, Chad referred to the inflation, and it's particularly hit, as it always does. Inflation hits the poor most of all. So the folks who have very little to spend on food has gone up about 4 to 6 times. Gasoline, at least when I was there a few weeks ago, was $8 a gallon. It's not being sold. You can't get it at the gas stations; are all closed. So you have to buy it on the side of the street out of Crisco jugs, or you name it. Couldn't happen in the U.S. We have to have the proper containers, but so it's very, very expensive. And obviously transportation, so getting a a moto or whatever, is very expensive because they have to pass that along to their customers. So it's really, the inflation has been very, very difficult for folks there. So I wanted to tell you that I kind of alluded to before about hearing from pastors and in Haiti and Latin America that are seeking a twin. Just to give you an idea right now, and I've been working to assemble lists of those parishes, and currently the list of parishes that I know have reached out and are seeking a twin in Haiti alone are 96 parishes seeking a twin, and in Latin America 101. And as you can imagine, we don't do anything to advertise that we do this matching. These are folks who just reach out to us because they know we exist and are seeking a twin. It's become, and I can tell you, the most challenging part of this position is to hear some of the desperate stories, the pleas for help for parishes that just don't have anything, and they it's really tough. And right now, our board of directors and we've agreed that for the time being, our focus really needs to be on serving you all better. Things like we're doing tonight, but I've mentioned a membership portal where we're going to be collecting resources and putting those out for folks to share, because we've so much to share with one another. We want to find a way for us to do that well. So that's really our focus for the time being. The focus on recruiting new U.S. parishes, that's a whole new kind of body of work. There's a whole lot to that and a lot of effort. And you're looking at most of our staff, the ones speaking at the moment. So, we don't have a lot of bandwidth to expand at this moment in time. So when we get ready to do that, certainly one of the pleas I'll put out is to all of you to identify perhaps a neighboring parish that we can match with a twin. So it's really, really tough. As I mentioned, we're kind of collecting resources. If you have any kind of resource that you as a parish have developed for your twinning relationship, it could be how you do accountability, how you, an agreement you signed with your parish, anything in either electronic or printed that you can share with me, please do so. We're collecting all of that information. You can email that to me because so many of us reinvent the wheel when we're doing things. We want to make things available so we can just get down to the business of forming relationships with our friends in Haiti and Latin America. So I know that these last few years have put an incredible strain on some of our relationships. I've heard from many of you because of the inability to travel that it's been really difficult. But I've also heard some pretty neat things of what people have been doing to keep in touch, to keep that relationship going, and wanted to share a couple. And then if some of you have some things that you've done, I'd like to hear from you. But I've heard from a couple of parishes who have sent every few months a letter down that they've asked the pastor to read at the Mass. And so at his homily, he'll read that. And I talked to one parish, they loved it so much, he read the same letter the next week. He did it a second time. They were so glad to hear from them. Others have sent photos down of people maybe that would be recognizable if you've been down there several times, sending pictures of things that are going on in your parish, just photos that the pastor can share if he has the means to do that. Some do, some don't. My own parish, we created a video where I interviewed members of our Haiti team and our pastor and some of our school kids, and we sent it down to him with a link. We put it on YouTube and sent a link so he was able to show that on his computer with his parishioners. So they just were so happy to see our faces and hear our voices. So I'm always thinking about ways of how do we bring ourselves to them. And of course, others have, as our parish has brought our parish to the United States to visit, or other members of your parish too. Obviously, some of you have probably done that, but just a way to keep that relationship going. It's so necessary. And I'd say that at a time like this with the challenges, their connection to us is probably more important than ever. For many of our friends, just the smallest sliver of hope really keeps them going. So has anybody else done anything they could share that, to nurture the relationship during this kind of non-travel time? You can go ahead and unmute yourself if you have something you'd like to share.
I can share something. This is Tom Grabenstein from Clarksville, Tennessee. We were fortunate over the last several years to set up a very good internet connection and to the point that we can do a monthly Zoom meeting with our parish. And we do that in conjunction with our Haiti team meeting. And that's been very, very helpful.
Fantastic. Thanks, Tom.
This is Christine from Medical Missionaries in Virginia. And throughout the pandemic, we've had a very successful weekly call with our clinic in Thomasee, Haiti. So that's been a way to keep in touch with them and for them to feel supported from the United States.
Fantastic. Thank you, Christine.
And also we sent our first medical mission down to Thomasee, but we came in through the Bonica side and then crossed the river into Haiti. But we've been getting a lot of supplies in through Cap-Haitien.
Excellent. Thank you.
This is John.
Hi, John.
We normally go down the end of January, have for many years, except for the last 3 or 4. And so this year we decided that during the time when we would normally go, we wrote a novena, and for 9 days we said that in all 3 of the parishes that we work with, and they all participated, and it's there's a lot that can be said for prayer, and so we're hoping that that it goes well. We actually had 9 different members of our parish Haiti committee videotaped and played leading the novena and put it on Facebook Live every day for 9 days. We got a lot of good feedback around that.
Wonderful. I see Hillary, you have your hand up. Unmute yourself.
There we go. I'm Hillary from Hands and Hearts with Haiti in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And we have been meeting monthly with our community development person who we hired. And so every other month we meet as a full committee. And then on the odd month, I meet with our community support person. We use a translator, just to make sure everything's going smoothly.
Great. Thank you. Sue.
One thing that we did was that we scheduled a Zoom rosary that we said at Our Lady Queen of Peace in the US at the same time that people gathered at our twin parish in Haiti saying the rosary. So we were praying for each other.
It's terrific. Sue, great to see you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Excellent. Great to hear some of the creative ideas, and appreciate you sharing. It's just so critical that we stay in touch. And it reminded me, we were talking, Tom shared about the internet connection. As some of you may have heard, that Starlink, which is a satellite service, is now available in Haiti. So I've got some folks in country that are kind of working on that to test it and figure out a system that might be able to work. David Murphy, some of you know, from Maine, is working with some folks too, to see if we can kind of tell you what you might be able to put in place, because the Starlink system, obviously, it could be placed anywhere. With a solar system, it could be up in a mountain or remote area. You wouldn't have to have electricity and things like that. It could be a real game changer, obviously, to keep that communication going and keep that relationship nurtured. So I wanted to share a few things about, hold on one moment. Sorry, just had a fan kick on. It got really noisy for me. Teresa, are you on? I thought I saw your name, Teresa.
Yes, I am.
I'm sure everybody would love to hear a hello from you, Teresa.
Hello, everyone. I want to be the silent partner tonight.
Well,
you've done a fantastic job.
we can't do this without acknowledging you and thanking you for making this all possible. But as I think you all know, Teresa is continuing as a board member, so she hasn't left us, and she's still alive, well, and kicking. Ornery as ever.
You said
it. She's been a great resource for me, for sure. So I started in August of this year. So this is only my 6th month. And I'll tell you what, it has been a baptism by fire. First of all, because 2 weeks after I started was when the conference was. So here I am thrown in, and I'm meeting all these people. I didn't know what was what. So it turned out to be a great orientation. I got to meet many of you there. And so it was terrific. But the unprecedented time with Haiti makes it a bit challenging too right now. But I'd love to be able to be there. I'd like to go to Port-au-Prince and visit some folks there, but just obviously not the right time. But I wanted to kind of share some of the things that have the highlights since my time started, some of the themes that are coming through, some of the issues that I'm dealing with, a lot I hear from you that you all are dealing with. And this may come as no surprise, but at the very top of the list is financial accountability. We're going to do a whole session on that, by the way. That's going to be at least a one or more Zoom just on creating financial accountability. I deal with, and I'm sure Teresa did over the years, more than anything, dealing with having to help through that issue. It presents incredible challenges when we're exchanging money. And so if anybody feels like we've really figured it out, we have a great system, it is just fantastic, please let me know. I'm not aware of that parish yet, but if you know, and I'm just convinced, even though it's Haiti and Latin America, that there is a way that we can better leverage technology to create better accountability. The issues that it creates are really profound. We can't underestimate that. I learned from the Food for the Poor director of Haiti just a couple of weeks ago. I was down at their home office, that any Haitian with a phone can receive cash on their phone. I don't know, it's, you know, some of you use Venmo and some of those things in the US, something like that, but they said he doesn't even have to be a smartphone. So I asked him if he would research and send me kind of a protocol for how that works, because I thought anytime we can make cash transfer electronically rather than physically, I get worried, like a lot of you are pastors and parishioners, going to pick up large sums of money at the bank and have cash in their hands. We know that that can create some safety issues. So if there's a way we can leverage technology to transfer money, that could be really effective. So that's just kind of in the works. But again, if you've really figured it out and you've got a great system down, let me know. And I understand a lot of it is dependent on the pastor you have in Haiti. That makes all the difference in the world. But Hillary referred to something that reminded me that some of you may not be aware. There are parishes who have hired someone to be their employee. So rather than everything go to the pastor, because we put a lot of pressure and count on the pastor to do things, they've actually hired somebody who acts as a liaison between the parish and the parish in the US and the parish in Haiti. Because essentially, if we think about it, our relationship is really, it's with the parish, it's not with the pastor, because pastors come and go. So the more we can do in terms of building relationships with the parishioners, the leaders in that parish, the better. And some have done a terrific job with that. We'll probably do a Zoom on that alone, but just something to think about. And as you know, in Haiti, you don't have to pay a fortune to hire somebody who could serve in that role. But obviously, it has to be the right person, trustworthy, probably speak some English or all those things. But it's a possibility for some of you to consider.
Hey, David.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, since you spend a lot of time with the archbishop and stuff, and you just made the comment, sometimes it's hard to go around the pastor, the priest at the parish, which we got a very strong-willed pastor or a priest, and him and I, we got a great relationship, and we both agree to butt heads. But did you have that conversation at all with the archbishop when you were down there about, you know, because we've talked before about, is there a school board, is there a parish council? Because our current priest, he's there until November, and he's only serving a 3-year term, where the past couple have served a 5-year term. And so there's been people in our outreach who know and have had relationships with so many people in the parish for the past 15, 20 years, where he's been there for 3 years. But again, you don't want to cross that line with them, because they are, you know, the way it's established. I was just curious what the archbishop's take was on that.
Yeah, we actually did talk about that, particularly because we had a challenging priest we had to talk about very specifically. That was one of his priests. And the parish in the US has become so distrusting of the pastor that they said they're not going to send money down anymore, but they wanted to continue. So that was the conversation. So we worked out a plan for the parish is going to send money to the archbishop's account, or the diocesan account. So I also met with the treasurer of the diocese. And so we worked out a way for them to wire money there, and then they are going to physically deliver it and pay the teachers. So I don't know what staff they're going to use to do that, but that was kind of a special arrangement, because it's a considerable amount of money. They were supporting, I don't remember how many students and teachers, so a large school, and I didn't want that relationship to end. So we talked about the issue of accountability, and I kind of explained to the bishop that you really have to emphasize with your pastors that they must be accountable for the money that is shared with them, because if not, it creates that distrust. And I know it's tough, but sometimes parishes have to get to the point where they say, you know what, we're not sending money down anymore. If you can't give us the accountability we need, we're just not going to do that. I think it begins, like a lot of things, at the beginning, and that is, for some of us, would be kind of going back in time, but is establishing the fact that the relationship that we have as a U.S. parish is with the parish. It's not with you, Father. Now, we know the culture in Haiti is that, Catholic priests in Haiti, they like to be in charge, and they like to make all the decisions. And we understand they have to be sensitive to that. But at the same time, my parish, we insisted on a parish council. So they do have a parish council. We meet with them every time we go. And we haven't done a great job. We need to, I think that's our next goal, is to really build a better relationship with that parish council, because those folks will be there. Our pastor will change. That's just the nature of it. So it's really a matter of really working with and building up some of the leadership that are actually parishioners. So that's a whole topic unto itself. But some of the other things that I wanted to just mention that I hear a lot about, and I've written some about, is the banking challenges. We all know that it's been a challenge because of the political unrest, the banking situation. And it's really just been that money's been slow to arrive in accounts and sometimes difficult to withdraw because of limited number of hours and limited number of days. But I have not heard of one case where money has not, it's been stolen or it's been diverted. I haven't heard a single case of that. So I don't think it's unsafe in that way to send money. But it is, obviously the pastors have to exercise extreme caution when we're picking up money. I've talked to pastors who have gone with bodyguards, and some who have sent people from the parish, that nobody would know. So there's all kinds of ways they know. And I always say, we have to trust the Haitians. They know what's best. We can't pretend to know what's best for them. They'll figure out the safest way to withdraw money. Another issue that I hear coming up time and again, and this is, I think, a really critical thing, and that is that many of you, are part of a Haiti committee, and our Haiti committees are an aging population. And I've heard from so many that are having a hard time doing succession planning, planning for the next generation of folks that are going to carry on the mission that so many of you, I've met folks who've been doing this 40, 50 years and are worried that if I leave or I don't get somebody to replace me, this thing is going to die. I think it's one of the biggest threats we have to parish twinning right now. And so again, I'm put out an invitation. If any of you have had great success in recruiting younger folks, I'm always excited to see people like Chad on, younger people who are going to be that next generation of committed people, because as we know, this takes a lot of work and dedication. So if you've had success, let me know in recruiting, because it's something we need to really intentionally be thinking about all the time, the succession planning. How are we going to find our replacements so that the committee will continue? And we know there's kind of a life period that's best to serve and work on a Haiti committee. Young people have a lot of energy. They like to travel and go to Haiti, but they don't have a lot in terms of resources, but they have creativity, so we just have to think creatively about ways to engage folks. Some people can travel, some people can't, but they can be involved. So an issue that we need to really, really pay attention to. Another threat to parish twinning that I almost hate to talk about this, but it's something I hear far too often, is that our younger ordained priests here in the US, they're not really that much interested in mission. Which I always want to, I want to say, have they read the Gospels? Because there's a little bit about it in there. Of course, you can't say that to a priest, but it's a trend that I've been seeing. I've been hearing from not just my own diocese, but all over the country from many of you, that a new priest comes in and you've had a twin relationship for 20 years, and he goes, "Oh, I don't want to do that. We're not going to do that anymore." And you're like, "Wait a minute, you don't understand. These people are our family. They're an extension of our parish. They are part of St. Matthew's, St. Bernadette, whatever it may be." So it's an alarming trend, and I think something I just want us all to ponder. What can be done? I think we need to be teaching mission in seminaries. We need to be really leveraging deacons in our parishes too, because deacons are charged with the charitable works of the church. That's their primary mission. So there's something we need to really discuss as a community and figure out how we're going to bring these priests along to say, you know what? We go to church, which is great. Eucharist is incredibly important, but it's all to prepare us for mission. That's the purpose. So it doesn't have to be a twin mission. There's lots of ways to live out mission, obviously, but something that concerns me and I hear a lot about. One of the topics, we'll do a Zoom on this for sure, is the issue of sustainability. I hear this, it's a really big topic on people's minds, and they're thinking about a lot, is how do I create enterprises or help to spur on enterprises in the communities that I work to create some sustainability, to create some income for our parishioners. Most of those tend to be agriculture related projects, but there are some groups doing some amazing things. There's some of you I know on this call that have done amazing things. And so it's something I want us to, as a community, to push out there more, is say, these are some ways to approach that. In my own community, we tried it on our own. We have killed more chickens and more crops than you can imagine. And it's embarrassing because we don't know what we're doing. Well, there are people down there that know what they're doing. And we can point you to some of those experts and help you to create some projects that can create some sustainable income. Because, having us as a twin, we'll always be in relationship, but are there some ways that we can begin to back away from funding some projects so that we can think about other projects and expanding a health clinic, for instance, or an eye clinic, or various other things. The opportunities are obviously always endless. Other topic a lot of you've heard about, and we don't have time to delve into it tonight, is President Biden's, his administration's new immigration program. I've gotten a lot of calls and emails about that, and I don't know about you, but I've also been contacted by some Haitian friends who want me to sponsor them to come to the U.S. And my wife has put her foot down and said we are taking no more strays in our house. So Mr. Seiler has spoken, but some of you have probably been contacted. So we're actually working with an immigration attorney. Steve Schmidt on our board has put us in touch with the immigration attorney to provide some advice for us. So we'll be putting out some material, some talking points for you, because it's very, very complex. There are a ton of unknowns. It's a very new program. So, if you want to do it, go for it. But I just want to make sure that you all, if you do that, if you sponsor somebody to bring to the United States, that you do it with your eyes open and you understand what you're getting into. So those are the things that I just kind of wanted to share tonight. I know there's a lot. I've tired myself out. I just wanted to open up for all of you. What comments do you have based on what I've said? What questions do you have? Let's just open it up for Q&A.
David, can you repeat those priest figures again? How
Sure
many
can.
priests?
There are 1,034 priests, 599 parishes, and 1,813 chapels.
1,839 chapels?
1,813.
13. Thank you very much.
That's a lot of chapels.
Yeah.
Hey, David, it's Steve. Hillary has a very good question as she documented the question in the chat.
Oh,
and
thanks.
as she rose her hand a long time ago, so I defer to Hillary. And you are on mute, Hillary.
Yeah, we sent a huge shipment of goods to Haiti in January of 2020, and it was so well received. Everyone was so happy. We were able to help several groups that also are trying to get goods into Haiti. And what I'd like to know is if anybody has experience in doing that. And, we want it to be a safe experience. We want to make sure that we can get the goods out of port reasonably, and we want to make sure that we can get them safely up the road to Mirabelais. So I'm just wondering if anybody has experience. And I just saw Christine's response to me, but feel free to talk about that out loud, or anyone else who has experience with shipping, because we would really appreciate moving back in that direction.
I'll comment. We're not much on doles or giving stuff, but we've had very good luck with an organization, a shipping company called ShipX. And I think they charge $13 a square foot. And it's very dependable. And as a matter of fact, just day before yesterday, I sent a large shipment of all things peanut butter. But so it's safe, dependable, and reasonably priced.
Thank you.
Another shipping company that I'm aware of that's been very dependable is called CAS Express out of Fort Lauderdale. You can find them on their website is shiptohaiti.org. And I've talked to several parishes that have used them, very successful. They're a Haitian run business out of Fort Lauderdale, and they'll ship into any of the ports in Haiti.
Yeah, what we did, we worked with the Salvatorians in St. Nazianz, who are always working miracles with getting, I mean, this was a complete shipload container there. So we were really able to move a lot of goods, and we were able, and they worked so well with us. They were able to send exactly what people in Mirabelais had asked for. And then if they had extras of something, they put those things in. Like, for example, they have good contracts with Land's End, for example. Land's End just donates an incredible amount of clothing. And there's some other main people that they work with. But it was just a wonderful, wonderful process. But like I said, I just want to make sure that if we'd like to be able to do it again, is what I'm saying. But we want to make sure that we can do it safely.
Hey, David, this is Dave Murphy up in Maine. Work to reship 9 20-foot containers, 10 20-foot containers down to St. Mark. We've had a couple of discussions, and we're having a real trouble, getting the safest pathway to ship in through Port-au-Prince. We're counting the cost to pay the 5 or 6 tolls needed to cross the gang borders to get the material to St. Mark.
That's what we're concerned about. Can they get big shipments in the Cap-Haitian? Is that another possible port for us?
They can. Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's good to know.
Yeah, I Christine again, I attended a big conference with USAID recently, and they were recommending that everybody go in through Cape Haitian and said it's quite safe going in that way. So that's the recommendation.
Excellent, thank you.
Does anyone know if there is a port on the southern end of the country of Haiti, more toward Pedernale, Dominican Republic?
We know of a port in St. Lucia over near Lakai. Ian Hoagie runs that port. It's a deep water port, but that's not near your neck of the woods.
Okay, thank you.
We ship to Jacmel, and they unload the ship in Port-au-Prince and load up an 18-wheeler and drive it to Jacmel. And we haven't had one iota of difficulty.
All right. What else? What else is on your mind? By the way, I forgot to tell you this at the beginning, but I am recording this. I've had a lot of people say they couldn't make it tonight and they wanted a link, so I'll follow with a link to this for folks who couldn't make it. What else is on folks' minds?
Hi, Dave. This is Jim Bakke. I was wondering if anybody has recommendations for using Foncosé as a way to get money down to our parish. We've used them for a long time, but recently it's become more difficult, and more often the payments don't go through, they don't get in the right account. So far we haven't lost any money, but it's concerning that, I'm just curious about that.
I've heard that from a few others with regard to Foncosé. Anybody else having success wiring?
We're having success at St. Thomas Aquinas in Indianapolis, and we send a monthly wire transfer the first of the month. We only had 1 month, either last October or November, where it was the 25th of the month before we got the confirmation that the funds were distributed as they should have been. But this past month, we got the confirmation on the 3rd, and the wire transfer had taken place on the 2nd. So it's Miraguan, is the bank, the central bank that the pastor uses, but he also alternates and goes to Lakai. He has devised his own plan for securing the funds.
And do you, just a quick question, do you send a preemptory email to Fonk Jose to tell them that the money's coming, or do you wait for them to ask?
No, we send an email, like our financial person today set up the transfer for tomorrow. So tomorrow I will send an email to Fonk Jose saying X number of dollars is coming and here are the accounts to distribute the funds to.
Okay.
And then how much. So
Very good. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thanks. I wanted to address, Lee ask a question too. Do most of us send to a parish account or a priest account? If you're sending to a priest account, I'd ask you to question that. It really should always go to a parish account. I've heard a few horror stories where a priest, they were using a priest account, the priest passed away. It was a considerable amount that was still in his account, and the family would not give the money to the parish, and they took it themselves because they said was their brother, I forget it was uncle's money. So it should always be in the parish account. The parish should establish account, should also have somebody at the diocese that has that account information, should there ever be a need for somebody else to have access to that account. So it's really critical that, again, that's some of that oversight. If the diocesan finance office or something can have their name on that account, that's an important thing too. And again, you're establishing the fact that that relationship is with the parish. It's not the priest. So we're using the parish account, not your account, Father. What else? Somebody
Maybe,
else? Christine.
maybe something, David, that could help. And I remember speaking with Jim in Atlanta. I mean, the Archdiocese of Atlanta is basically 80% of Georgia, and there's probably 12 or 15 parishes that are twin in Haiti. We send the money, of course, even the finance person of our church, not even myself, right, sends the money, the request for wire to the diocese, the headquarter in Atlanta, if you know what I mean, the Archdiocese office. They consolidate. So in the eyes of Fonk Jose and Port-au-Prince, when they look, they have one customer, it's a diocese. So they think of the Diocese of Atlanta as a big customer, right? So we're one of 12 or 15 parishes. So, that may not be applicable if you're alone in a state, but it was a mandate by the Diocese of Atlanta, the Archdiocese of Atlanta, to bring all the money in one place. They will be responsible. So the diocese takes responsibility for sending $15,000 at a time. Therefore, if there's a problem, we will not lose our 15,000, that we send every other month, so to speak, right? Okay. So if you can get your diocese to funnel the money to Fonk Jose, maybe you have a better chance. Maybe it works better. Anyhow, this is how it works for us, and we've not had any problems. Hopefully that helps.
Thank you. Cecilia, you got your hand up. You have to unmute here.
Yeah. So our parish, we've had our parish that we've twinned with in Bacbanic, which is on the very eastern part of Haiti. It's right on the Dominican Republic border. So it's very, very isolated. So we've been able to pretty successfully through all these years, through earthquakes and everything else, been able to get the money through Fonk Jose, gets there to the pastor through St. John the Apostle Parish. Mainly, right, we've just been supporting paying the teachers' salaries, and then we usually been sending shipments, but we haven't been able to do that safely. But I had a question. It seems so difficult to get things through Port-au-Prince. Have you been thinking of a way that we can divert that to sending funds to Cape Haitian? And what about going through the customs and everything that you usually did at Port-au-Prince? How do we deal with the customs if you're bringing things in not through Port-au-Prince? That's
As I understand it, everything still has, even if it goes like CAP, it has to be cleared through the Port-au-Prince Customs Office. Ken, maybe can you address that at all?
Yes, my understanding is that most of, not all the shipping goes to Port-au-Prince, and then it has to pass through customs there. And that can be a pain in the esophagus, but that adds maybe a week or two to the shipment. but eventually it does get through, and we've never lost one thing at all.
Yeah, we haven't lost anything either. I mean, it's all, stuff has always gotten through, but I always wonder, it seems to be that's the bottleneck where so much is going on there. It's amazing that stuff can get through, because for our parishes, has quite a distance to go to pick up the things, because they're right, quite a distance away.
I think I saw that Kevin from Food for the Poor is on. Kevin, you can speak to it, because I think we learned that Food for the Poor has been shipping into Port-au-Prince again, which they had frozen for a while. Are you able to speak to that, Kevin? Are you still on?
Yes, I am, David. Thank you. We are moving containers into or basically out of customs in Port-au-Prince. Honestly, we were stacked up. We had 200 sea containers stuck in port, and we're averaging a little over 10 per week now, getting them out. Customs is helping us. Where it's still difficult is once we leave the port. It's a risky game to know if we're going to get from the port to our warehouse without being hijacked or stopped. And so security and creativity and police protection and all those things enter in, but we are moving containers on a weekly basis now.
Great. I see. I think I'm saying this right. Marlena, you had your hand up. Can you unmute yourself? And
okay, can you hear me now?
yes.
Okay, thank you. Well, just to follow up on what Kevin was talking about then, you're choosing to go to Port-au-Prince. Why are you not going to Cap-Haitian if it is safer?
We've always gone into to Port-au-Prince unless there is something in the north that needs direct delivery and it makes more sense. I think it's just been our historical method, and we have the blessing of being free of custom fees, duties, taxes. The government recognizes us, and maybe that's it. I'll ask that question. I'm curious myself. I mean, we do move some things into Cap-Haitian, but our biggest warehouse, our biggest distribution center is in Port-au-Prince, and so virtually everything goes there, whether it's medical supplies or food or whatever it is. Everything goes through Port-au-Prince, and that's probably the most basic reason.
Well, I'm concerned about my priest going, to Port-au-Prince, because that is where he's picked up containers from us before. So I was just curious when you said the Cap-Haitian was open. I thought, well, that's how we flew in to Cap-Haitian. And I think it would be safer for him rather than Port-au-Prince. So that was my question. Why Port-au-Prince rather than Cap-Haitian?
Ken, go ahead.
I was going to say with Shipex, they deliver the stuff to Jacmel. My thought was that whatever shipping company you hire, it takes it to the city nearest to your parish.
Yeah, we'll do a whole thing. We'll have a whole Zoom on shipping.
That would be great.
I see my board chair has her hand up, so I better call on her because we're about to close. So Diane.
Well, and let's see, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna change the subject briefly. I noticed that we lost Julio because he said he thought that there was gonna be some topics for Latin America, and I was just curious. We have been pretty focused on Haiti, but I was wondering if there's anybody that is with a Latin American parish, twinned with a Latin American parish.
Mike, you are? Okay.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Mike Gable from the Archdiocese Cincinnati Mission Office. We have about 40 parishes and 20 relationships. Many of them are in Latin America. But a quick question I have is there a list of products, things that are made in Haiti that could be bought there with your funds rather than shipping them in if they're already making them there. I had an ugly experience about 15 years ago after a hurricane in Honduras where I used to work. And high school collected 5 trailer loads of clothes and shipped them to this mission. And the stores in that area were very angry that the mission was passing out all these clothes for free and putting the local people out of business. So I just wonder, is there a systemic way of knowing, gee, maybe we really don't need to ship X, Y, and Z when they actually make it there and we could buy it there? Just curious.
Mike, that's a terrific question. I don't know the answer, and I don't know if anybody else does. Kevin, do you think your Haiti staff would?
Yeah, I think it's interesting to see over time, Mike. You raise a point that's just really on my heart these days, and our founder of Food for the Poor passed away this week, and you know, I know that when they started doing things 40 years ago, we were unaware of a lot of things, of creating dependency. We don't ship clothing any longer. It just, like you said, Mike, it puts people out of business. But I feel the same way about food. And you know, we have a plan in place to change that. It just takes time, especially when you have 5.5 million people that are food insecure right now in that country. And we have a relationship with the Taiwanese government that sends us literally a tremendous amount of rice. At the same time, they're helping us grow rice in Haiti. So it's a sensitive subject, a whole other topic, but worthy of conversation so much.
Thank you.
Well, you all have been gracious to stay over our allotted time, and I want to be respectful of everybody's time. I know we're all on different time zones. For me, it's about 8:34. Some of you at 7:34, and probably other times as well. But it's been great to gather with all of you, see some familiar faces, see some new faces, and just begin this time to just converse and create community among us. So we'll continue to do this. What I'd like to do is kind of alternate the day of the week, because I heard from a few people that said, oh, every Tuesday I have this commitment. So we may do it, you go back from a Tuesday to a Thursday or something like that, just so we can get as many people. I'm thrilled that we had over 70 people. It speaks to me of this is something that folks want to do. Again, if you have some ideas of topics that are really burning on your heart that you want us to do a Zoom about, let me know, and we'll start to put out a schedule and try to make it regular so you can plan on it. All right. Well, I want to be just close with a prayer to Our Lady. So if you just join me in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy
Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, everyone. God bless you.
Thank you, David. Thank you all.
Yes, thank you.
Keep up the good work. Keep on keeping on.